Hey everyone, welcome to this new videos. In this video, we gonna see how an actually 18 years old Murzin Volodar could defeat Nakamura. So here Nakamura is playing white pieces and Volodar with black pieces. So let's jump to the game and see what happens. But actually don't forget to give thumbs up and please also make sure that you have sub to the channel and please also make sure that you have commented on this video. So let's begin. As I just said, Nakamura is playing white and Murzin Volodar is playing black, an 18 years old chess prodigy. We have e4, e5, knight f3, and knight to c6 just defending this pawn. We see as normal. So bishop to c4, bishop c5, everything is normal to us. And here we see the move d3. So this is the Giuoco Piano, and it will actually get into the four knights variation because the four knights are out and we have played d3 here. Everything normal till now. We see h6 and here a knight jump by Hikaru Nakamura. We see knight d5 and here d6, bishop to e3, offering exchange of bishops. So a6 was played by Moroder and here instead bishop takes on e3 was just possible here, but Moroder just decided to play a6. So here we see, of course, bishop takes on c5, d takes on c5 by Volodar, and we see knight to e3. Knight to e3 is just a move that maybe later we want to just play knight to f5, but we must be sure that black can't take it. So we see queen to d6, and here castle by Naka. And after castles, we see a4. So Naka wants to expand on the queen side and prepare any bishop to a2 ideas after knight to h5, knight to a5. So we would have bishop to a2. So bishop to e6, offering exchange of bishops. We see a5, a pawn pushed on the queen side, and after rook a to d8, Naka decides to play h3. It was actually possible to just take after queen takes on e6, then Naka actually play because the black threat is actually to take on e4, so we just play knight to d2 just to defend us. After knight to d2, actually rook to a8 again. Now we are just threatening the move b6 and to take, and these pawns will be just pushed this way. So, but in the main game, actually as I just told you, was played. We see bishop takes on c4, knight takes on c4, and here we just attacking queen. So queen moves away, and here we see knight fd2. Nice move from Naka. And here maybe we are just selecting f4 or again knight to e3 and knight to f4, knight to f5. So we say knight d4, returning accuracy, he could actually play knight to b4 with some difference, and you can't cheat this knight because your pawn on d3 is so weak. It is just attacked by the knight and by the knight and by the rook. So we maybe would see knight to e3 and here after a takes b6 and rook to a3 because rook to a3 just defends this pawn a little more, and maybe we want to prepare queen to a1, and in some cases we would go c3 to just take this pawn. But Actually, in the middle, in the main game, knight d4, after the move knight d4, we would see just c3, so we just kick this knight out. And after knight to c6, we would have just defend this pawn by playing queen to e2. And you may ask why you cannot play this, okay? Because of this knight to b3, your pawn is weak on c5. So if you take, I just take, and I just take knight takes on c5, and here also the pawn on b7 is also hanging. So after this, knight takes on b7 is also possible for white. Sorry, I'm just a little sick. I haven't been improved since yesterday because of my sickness. Okay, so but let's go actually to the main line which they played. They played knight to e7, so actually Volodar didn't go for queen to d7 to be able to take and played knight to e7. Nice. We see king to h2 and here g3 and maybe f4 are the white score, Nakamura score. And after king to h2, black plays knight d6 and none, where g3 plays, and here he plays queen to 7 finally. And here, as I just told you earlier, we have knight to b3, so we are just attacking this pawn. So queen to b5, and here Nakamura makes a blunder in this game. So pause the video for some seconds, for some moment, and see what is the black's move, what the move in this position. Okay, I hope you have found it. It's the move, yeah, knight takes on e4, and the purpose of this is if you take, then I just take your knight and I have one pawn in this situation. But instead of queen c2, he could have actually played rook a3 to guard this knight, because queen is already hanging, attacking on b3. So and knight on b3 is hanging, so rook a3 was possible in this moment, but actually let's go to main line queen c2. We see knight takes, and here Naka played rook a to e1. A better move actually could be just d takes on. No, rook a to e1, and hoping for this pawn is also hanging, and here also Volodar also made a blunder, and here he played knight to f6. He could have actually tried this, and this pawn we cannot take on this because you take, and here it's just a fork. So black just wins this position, but he played knight to f6, Hikaru Nakamura, but knight takes on e5, knight takes on e5, rook takes on e5, and here we see b6 from Volodar. So after a takes on b6, c takes on b6, we see rook to e3. After knight to d5, we see rook to e2, and after knight c7, we just play d4. So everything good for now. So d takes on c5, b takes on c5, and here we have knight to d2. We just want to push, we want to go actually in front of this pawn to get this blockade here, nice blockade. So rook f to e8, rook f to e1, takes states, and here knight to e6. So everything is balanced now. We see h4 from Naka, and after queen to d5, queen to a4. Better move was actually queen to e4, just to centralize this queen. But Naka actually, I understand why did he play this, because he wanted to attack this pawn on a6. So queen a6 is white's threat, is Naka's threat. We see queen to b7 defending this pawn. Okay. After queen to c2, uh, we see queen to d5 again, and at rest now Nakamura plays the move queen to e4, and queen takes on e4, knight takes on e4, and everything is balanced. Actually, now maybe white's idea is trying to push and take this pawn. So we see rook to d1, king to g2, and king to f8. And here maybe Naka could go for this ideas, but after g6 I don't see any upcoming moves for Naka, so actually his choice knight d2 was very nice, and he's just playing knight to c4 to guard this pawn and also be better trade off the pawn on c5. So we see h5 and knight to c4, yeah. After king to e7, we see knight to e3. So knight takes on d1 is serious threat. So rook to b1 is played. We see rook to d2. A better move actually was king to f2 just to activate this king and bring it into middle of the game. But we see rook to d2 here, and after a5, knight to c4. So and a4, we see now f4. A better move was actually again to go for king f3 and king to king after king f4, king to e4, and just try to go for the f4 ideas, or maybe actually even king to d5. Okay, but f4 was played. We see g6, and here after knight to e5, we see king to e8 and king f3. Now we see a3. So b takes on a3, and here we see rook to b3, attacking the pawn on c3 and attacking the pawn on a3 at the same time. We see rook to a2, so Naka wants to give up this pawn and just pushes this pawn to make this queen, but that isn't so easy. We see rook takes on c3, king f2, and here black has got also himself a pass pawn on the c5. So c4, a4, and it is just a race between these two pawns, which will be just the queen first. And we see a5, and after the move f6, we see knight to f3, knight to a6. So knights are nice protectors of pass pawns. So Volodar does this actually. We see king to e2 from Naka, king d7, and rook to b2. After rook to a3, we see rook to b6, attacking this knight and the pawns. So we see a check, rook to check, and after king to d1, knight to c5. We see rook to b4. A better move was just to take on f6. Rook takes on f6, but Naka was afraid of this counterplay and this kind of counterplays. So he played actually rook to b4. And here we see again an inaccuracy from Volodar. Knight to d3. A better move for him was knight to e4, attacking actually this, going this and this, and 14, for example. So if you play something like this, then you will lose it immediately, because after king to e1 we have knight just to d3 and it's just a 4. So, but in the game knight to d3 was played, and here it is actually again threatened knight to f2. But after rook to b5, we see king to a6, d6, and knight to d2. Now, other blunder, we would actually see knight to f2 just to cover this critical square here. But knight d2 was played in this position, and here, of course, and of course, king to c6 was played, but knight to f2 was much better idea. because after king to c1 we see just the move c3, and after knight to c4, king to c6, bishop to b6 check, and king to c5. Actually, this kind of like this similar to this happened into the game, but let's go actually to the main line to see what happened. After king to c6, which Volodar missed the rook to be knight to f2 check, we see rook to b8 from Nakam, and here we see a nice move. So you can't play this because just Nakamura will get happy and rook c8 and rook takes on c3. That's why king to c7 is just completely crushing. And in this position, just Nakamura decided to resign, and actually his time was also um, was getting to zero. And okay, that was it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please make sure that you have commented on this video. So see you next time. Bye for now.